Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Crusader Kings III in our roleplay series as the Dokeianos dynasty. So as I mentioned in the last episode, we're going to just briefly go over the patch notes, some of the major parts of the patch notes that I noticed, some things that might affect our playthrough or would have affected it if we had the patch before. Just kind of go over some of it, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. So the first thing of note is that they added the ruler designer. When you start a new game, you can design who your ruler is. So of course they had a ruler designer in CK2, but that was part of a DLC that you had to buy. It was a pretty cheap DLC, but you did have to buy it, while now it's part of a free patch. So that's pretty awesome. Of course we have the kill list, which we already saw. That was added as well. Then we can now attach our armies to any allied armies located in the province. So that's something that the AI seemed to kind of already do, like attach armies to your armies and kind of follow you around. But there was no way for you to do that yourself. So you can now do that. I don't see myself using it much, if ever, but it is something you can do now. There's a new game rule that controls the AI's willingness to do matrilineal marriages. So that's kind of nice. I don't know if it will stop them from agreeing to matrilineal marriages, since obviously they're not very beneficial to that character or their family, or if that would make them more willing to do matrilineal marriages, because AI doesn't do them at all. Like, they don't arrange their own matrilineal marriages, so I don't really know exactly how that controls it. I assume it's their willingness to agree to a matrilineal marriage proposed by the player. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if they can now do them. I'd have to test that to confirm. I guess we'll see if we see any other matrilineal marriages while we play, because if we did, then that would say that they could do them now. That's one thing I'd really like to see them be able to do, honestly. We can now construct in a brand new temple will now give our faith fervor. So that should help quite a bit for these large faiths like Catholicism that have fervor issues. A lot of characters are part of that faith, so if they're building temples, then that's going to help increase the fervor of that faith. Great Holy Wars now don't reduce fervor by as much, and they can't be done as often. So, crusades and jihads. And this is gonna, overall, they kind of rebalanced the fervor quite a bit in this. Another one is they half the impact of fervor on the speed of convert faith of the county councilor task. So fervor's had quite a few adjustments. I think the main purpose here is to help Catholicism out, because their fervor is so ridiculously low, like at all times. So this should help them keep higher fervor, especially with the crusades that they call. So that's going to help. But then also, one thing that many people have noted in the game is that for Muslims, they can very easily convert Christian provinces, because fervor impacts the conversion rate. So higher fervor makes you better at converting, while the higher fervor of the province's faith makes it harder to convert. And then of course low fervor has the opposite effect. So what ends up happening is Muslims have very high fervor, while Christians have very low fervor. So that results in Muslims being able to convert provinces incredibly quickly, while Christians, particularly Catholics, have a lot of difficulty converting Islam, Muslim provinces. So that should overall improve that situation quite a bit, guys. So I'm really happy to see that. Having a strong hook on your realm priest will now cause them to pay you maximum contribution as if they endorsed you with 100 opinion. So as you guys know, the opinion rating of your bishop does impact how much taxes and levies they grant you. And so if you have a strong hook, it's essentially the same as having 100 opinion with them. So that's really nice. That really should have been the case already, but it's a nice change. In Independence Wars, ticking war score is now given to the revolters if they fully control all the revolters' domain, while the defender gets ticking war score as long as they occupy at least one holding from the revolters' domain. So overall, this should make the Independence Wars a lot different, change them up, give that ticking war score. Overall, it's a very good change, so I wanted to note that, and it might impact us if we were ever to try and go independent, though that's really not the goal of this campaign, of course. We did have an independence war against our ducal liege. It's now easier to divorce a spouse who has cheated on you, so that's nice, because you should be able to. Male and female only realm laws will now consistently block the other gender from inheriting claims. That was something that was just broken. We had noted it in our previous playthrough. That just wasn't working properly. Like, women were still inheriting in titles where they shouldn't be able to inherit. So that's been fixed, and it does go both ways for a title if it's specifically only available to females. They made it easier to defend against holy wars in a variety of ways. There's a lot of changes for this, but basically it's going to be a lot easier to defend against a holy war than it was before, and to win that conflict even when outnumbered. Just a few changes in that regard. The first army to arrive at a siege now controls the siege. Now, the reason why I noted this one is because I didn't know that wasn't the case already. In all of the other Paradox games that have sieges, that is the case. Whoever's the first one that arrives is the one who controls the siege. I think that's the way it always works. EU4 might have some different rules for it, perhaps, that are added more recently that I don't know about, but that's typically the way they do it, and I was surprised that it's not done that way here in CK3. So apparently it is now, though, so they changed that. The Arrogant trait now gives -10 secrecy to own schemes, while the Craven trait now gives +10 secrecy to own schemes. So essentially, if you are an arrogant character, and you can see that right here, we got a -10 for the scheme secrecy. Probably because you're more willing to brag about it, and you're less worried about being caught, while a Craven's going to be incredibly terrified of the idea of being caught doing their scheme, so they're less likely to brag about it. So that's interesting change for those two traits that does impact our current character. So the first army to arrive, no, we already read that one. You can no longer manually add gender law exceptions to your held titles, so that's interesting. You can't do that manually anymore. Vassals will no longer, and I think that's what affects an exploit, honestly. People were using that to kind of affect the inheritance in a way that was positive for themselves. So I think that's why they fixed that, or they changed that. Vassals can no longer convert their capital when you demand their conversion. That was another exploit where you would appoint somebody who was the wrong religion to a province that was also the wrong religion, and then demand that character to convert, and then they would also convert the province. And it was one way, a very gamey way to easily convert provinces, so they have stopped that. That is kind of negative too, though, because that was very helpful even when you weren't using it in a gamey tactic. So the next one is buildings now give a percentage modifier to the men-at-arms stats rather than flat moderate mods. This should prevent stat inflation and keep cultural MMA's variants competitive. So we should be able to see this right now, I suppose, if we just go look at one of our buildings here. And yeah, you can see it right there. It's +4% and +2% rather than +2 or +1 that you're getting before. So that's interesting. That's going to result in the buildings essentially being a lot less helpful here in the early game. Yeah, it's going to be a lot less helpful. I guess it would be just overall, it's going to be a lot less helpful. The stats should just result in they're going to be a lot lower at the end game than they were before, I think. I mean, you'd have to do the math, but that's the way it would seem. But yeah, that's a very interesting change, and it's going to change up the game quite a bit and change up MMAs quite a bit. Or MAAs, excuse me. We're not doing mixed martial arts here. You can now arrange marriages for all of your descendants, not only your direct children. We talked about that last episode. We already seen that. No, wait a minute. Actually, that was naming our children. But yeah, you can also arrange marriages for all your descendants. And I guess we saw that too, because we were able to arrange the marriage for our son. But I think you were always able to arrange a marriage for a son, if he's your heir. So I don't know if that impacted it at all, but that's a change. Reduce the overall effectiveness of light cav in the main phase of combat, since they're simply too cost effective for the stats that they would bring. They're still going to excel during the aftermath of the battle, as well as in their preferred terrain type. So basically, light cav are not as good as they once were. Certainly impacts us because we have a light cav MAA right now. I keep wanting to say MMA. Did a pass over character weight values and the traits that affect weight gain loss. They had a lot of complaints that too many characters are becoming obese. Most characters in their old age became obese in the game. Maybe you could say that's accurate, or maybe not. I would say it's not accurate that everybody becomes fat and they get old, because a lot of old people were in fact quite small, quite skinny. So they changed that. So hopefully less people will become obese, and character traits are going to impact it a little bit more, from my understanding. So player characters now get their weight target checked once a year rather than every 3 years, which should make things like the lose weight decision feel more responsive. So before, apparently, they only checked it every 3 years, whether or not they're going to become obese or lose that trait. Now it's every year, an annual check. So that's interesting because I didn't know that it only did the check every 3 years. I assume that's for the performance. But yeah, clearly they changed it. They weren't too worried about the performance effects. I assume they just didn't want you to have to wait 3 years in order to lose weight. Increase the penalties to the seduce scheme success chance when the scheme target is married and loves their spouse. We saw this in the last couple of patches. They obviously have had a lot of issues with, your spouses are far too willing to cheat on you. Even when you are soulmates and in love, they still cheat. So they've been trying to rebalance this since the beginning, and apparently they're still not quite where they want to be. So they're continuing making adjustments there. Hopefully that will continue to improve. They added new murder outcomes, so that's interesting. Several new murder outcomes. Also just overall added a ton of new events, and that's always good because we want to see new events and more variety in the events. A Guardian's personality will now have a larger impact on the ward's personality. So that's interesting. If they have an event that has their trait that they could give to the kid, I think that might result in them picking that event. So you might want to consider, we're going to have our son educate, one of his brothers or something, then it could result in that character getting the same traits as our son. So that's something to consider. It's one more thing you need to consider when you look at Guardians. So I found that pretty interesting. Reduce the frequency of certain events that are intended to create friendship, rivalries, and then disease outbreaks by way of corpse. So one of those events clearly is that event where you're flinging corpses at each other and creating rivalries and stuff. I think those events fire way too often. And we see them all the time. I'm very glad that they are reducing that, as well as some of those other events that we probably see far too often. You can now set your children's education before the age of 6. It just won't have any effect until they turn 6. So I don't think we have any young children. No, we don't have any young kids. Might have a grandkids or something. I don't know if that has already been set. But yeah, the point is that basically as soon as your child's born, you could go ahead and set that up rather than having to catch it when it's in here. So that's a good thing. I'm glad we can do that now. Ugly characters now have significantly more varied looks and look more believably ugly. This is of course because of all those screenshots of some really weird looking characters. So Paradox is trying to fix that. Knights in the army should now also gain the Crusader trait. This is something we noted in the last series, is that we'd go on Crusade, and it seemed like only the generals, so people who are leading the troops, got the Crusader trait, which is odd because if you've got all these knights that went on Crusade, then they should get the Crusader trait too. But they didn't, and now they do. So I noted that in the last series a couple times, so I'm glad they fixed that. And then overall, you'll notice that across the patch notes, a lot of bug fixes, a lot of AI improvements, all the kind of standard stuff. But overall, should be a more stable game, a game with less bugs, and a game with better performance. And of course, hopefully the AI should be smarter and act in ways that makes more sense. So yeah, it's a big, long, huge, massive patch notes. We only went over a little bit of it. So maybe go check that out on the Paradox forums if you want to know everything that was changed. All right, so that did take a little bit longer than I expected. I thought it would take like 5 to 8 minutes, and obviously it took longer than that. And unfortunately, I only have so much time to record today, and I'm trying to record 2 videos, this and then the Wave 4 video for Saturday as well. So I just won't be able to increase the length by much, guys, even though we spent all that time. So sorry about that, but I felt like we need to go over it. Whenever there's a big major patch during the middle of a series, I feel like I have to go over the changes, so that we're aware of it, so you guys are aware of it. And also anybody who's watching and maybe watched me, maybe they're watching in the future and they watched me complain about certain things in the first couple episodes, and then those things have now been fixed. Just so I don't get a lot of comments from people that are coming later like, oh, that's not how it works. Well, it changed during the series. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Remember, we're working on converting the faith here, and there was something I wanted to change up, actually. One of these characters, yeah, that's right, I wanted to go ahead and try and find secrets again. Let's try and find secrets on the Emperor. Or people in the Emperor's courts. Of course, the main thing is just trying to get that money from that, trying to demand payments on them. And the reason why I pulled him off of that is because I was going to have him help us with that scheme to assassinate the Duke here, but of course I just completely forgot the fact that obviously we can't can't do that on him, since he has a strong hook on us. Can't assassinate him. So yeah, I'd forgotten about that. And so I had pulled him off so he could help us with that, change up his job, what he was doing, but obviously that wasn't necessary, so we'll keep him looking for secrets. A missing village. Lit only by a single candle, my finger pauses on an entry in the ledger. Something is not quite right. Soon I'm searching through every record from the county of Messina I can find. At last it is clear as day. It seems as if an entire village has gone missing from the taxation records. Oh wow. Okay, so the tax collector in Messina must investigate. The collector will lead the investigation, could gain a stewardship lifestyle perk. We could instead say, I shall travel to the village personally. Or we could say villages go missing all the time, pay at no need. Alright, well, I kind of feel like we might travel there personally. I think that's what we're going to do, guys. Yeah, let's travel there personally. Let's see what happens there. We could have the collector do it, but he might be the one that is the reason for that missing. Maybe he's cheating us. Maybe there's corruption there. So yeah, we'll do it ourselves, and we'll see what happens. After days of travel, I find the village that is missing from my records. Not only is it thriving, absolutely thriving, but the villagers insist they do pay their taxes. Leontios, the barony's tax collector, has not been entirely honest. Okay, not surprising at all. That's exactly what I was expecting. If we had sent him sent him rather than go ourselves, I think we would have had a very different situation here. So we say round up the villagers and they will pay again. Or we're gonna, question the tax collector, which I think that's exactly what we do. Want to know what's going on here. If there's corruption, then we need to weed it out. Those funds were vital to the defense of Messina. So he's just coming up with this out of nowhere. Says Leontios, that's how I'm pronounce it, Leontios, the tax collector, is terrified, not least because of the hulking soldiers I brought to his manor. Oh please, I'll do anything to earn your forgiveness. So we know he's guilty here. So we say, you will be forgotten in the dark, and we'll imprison him. We can say, I could use someone who owes me their life, and we get a weak hook on him. Or we say, anything at all, how about counting worms? And then we'll kill him. Well, I feel like we probably wouldn't straight up kill him. We'll just put him in a dungeon. And maybe we'll even ransom him. I don't know. We'll see how much we could get from him. He should have a lot of money. Oops, I'm looking at the wrong tab here. He doesn't have any money. He already spent it. Alright, well, he'll probably just stay in the dungeon forever then for what he did. He's he's clearly guilty. Could execute him. I guess that'd get us some dread. That would probably lose fairly quick. But yeah, I think we'll just leave him in the prison. And something else we can do here that wasn't here before. Oh yes, low county control. We're not improving that yet, are we? We should be working on that now. We won that war, and I don't know if I ever did this, or if that event changed it. I feel like we never did this. But again, maybe that event, since that event was concerning this county, maybe that's what impacted it here. So yeah, let's go ahead and increase control here, guys. Get that money. We're earning pretty good money right now. The missing village. The taxes levied on my peasants can be hard at times. However, as recent events have shown me, life is hard. No kindness I can show will change that. So you say I've learned so much, and now we just got a stewardship perk. Excellent. So we can now get the final closing perk here, giving us a trait that increases our stewardship by +2 and holding taxes by +15%. Before we get that, let's just see how much that impacts us. We're at 4.9 right now. So let's go grab this. 5.7. So good chunk of money, guys. That's fantastic. And now we're stuck with the decision here. Like, do we want to then go down the other branch of the stewardship focus here, which would go down the administrator? I don't really find that these are this one would be as useful for our particular character. Yeah, I just don't think it'd be as useful. Yeah, really doesn't seem like it. But it's one option, and remember, we do get pretty good experience here, guys. So we could continue down that, or we can try and work on something else. I'd love to hear guys' opinion here. We could do the claim throne one against your liege, and that'd be one way you could try and take the throne from our emperor. if we wanted to later down the road, but I don't think he would ever do that again as a content character, and we're not going to be strong enough to do that anyways. So yeah, we could just do the one and then continue on to something else. But yeah, I don't even think that one's all that worth it at this point. That would have been more worth it back when we were still under that duke. And then we could have just straight up took his title, and we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now, where we don't have a duchy yet. Yeah, I kind of feel like we should go to something else. I think we might do that, guys. I know we're at the end of our life here. Question is, what would we move to? I guess we can move like to the thing we have the next highest level of skill in, which of course is not actually intrigue, because that's what our wife is doing. Maybe martial? I mean, he's kind of been very military focused in a way. Yeah, I kind of feel like we might do martial of all things. Make our troops better. So that would be one option. Another would be to go down the learning path. I don't see him going down theologian. Maybe the scholar. He's kind of scholarly, I suppose. Go down the whole body to keep him around longer, but I don't know if he'd do that as a content character. As a fickle character, always changing his mind, I think it'd be very difficult for him to like work on something that long. His health, for instance. So yeah, I kind of feel like just martial's the most fitting for our character right now, just based on everything. We can't get him up here, but yeah, based on his traits and stuff. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go down the martial route. So we have to pick either strategy, authority, or chivalry. So which one would we do? I almost think authority fits the best for our character. Yeah, we'll do that one, guys. Could get a bit more martial by going down this route, or even increase our prowess by going down this route with that advantage bonus. But yeah, I think the strategy, I think the authority focus is the most fitting for our character. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion if you disagree on what we went down as far as the military path. We could have went down other paths, I think. I don't think diplomacy, our character hasn't been exactly the most diplomatic, I suppose. I think in events we've done some diplomatic options that we've been able to succeed in, but yeah, I wouldn't say that we're the most diplomatic type or really focusing on that matter, or that'd be all that helpful. Intrigue, we suck at intrigue, and I don't think our character's done much of that or really focused on it. I would say the only other route I could see going down is maybe learning and working on our scholarly abilities, perhaps. So I would say that'd be the only alternative I could see really working. But I'd love to hear your guys' opinion and why you feel that way. Because yeah, there could have been other options that we could have went with. I did not realize we were on speed 3 this entire time. My bad, guys. I always forget when I come into the game because we leave with it on speed 4, but then we come back and it's sitting on speed 3. Again, I want to say that Hoi Fort remembers what you're on, but yeah, CK3 doesn't remember your speed setting. Attempted murder. So seen this event several times. Of course, this is just because we're looking for secrets, and this is on the Duchess. So we take a look at her. She's the Duchess here, and she's quite powerful. Yeah, she's very powerful. So it would be a good person to have a secret on. Can't force a marriage with her or anything like that. She doesn't have anybody here. She might have grandkids or something, though. Like if he inherits, I think his daughters right now are set to. But yeah, she's already betrothed. But I suppose you could go with this young lady here. And then we see if we'd even be able to do that, because if he's his own ruler, he is not. Yeah, he's unlanded. So that means that his mom should be the one that we can talk to here. Excuse me, force. Let's look at her again and go ahead and blackmail her. But yeah, force her to do this marriage. Maybe we wanted to. And we could force, our dynasty onto this throne, which would be pretty interesting development. Of course, a lot of things have to happen. This heir here, one of his daughters has to be the one to inherit. He has to basically have no sons, which is possible. His wife is older. So he'd have to have no sons. And then you'd have to also get rid of her as well. Though she would probably inherit some of the titles, since, yeah, they'd likely should get some of it, because I'm sure they have partition inheritance here. So yeah, let's take a look and see now. Oh, we haven't gotten the blackmail offer back yet. So we need her to approve that. I believe I sent it off. Yeah, okay, so it's already happened. Never mind. So we have the strong hook on her, which means that we can use it multiple times. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can to arrange a marriage here. Oops, we don't want to send a gift. And, you know, Thomas is an option, but of course we're still trying to send him to, you know, into the church. Another option would be our grandson. We don't really know anything about her or if she's any good. But again, this would result, and this also probably wouldn't result in an alliance either. It might though. Eventually, it would result in an alliance with them. So it would be a great alliance because he's pretty powerful. They would not accept this, and apparently... Oh, she's not... Huh. Okay, so the baby is in his court. They're both landed. That's what threw me off, because I saw she was landed, so I was expecting their husband wasn't. But apparently these are two powerful characters that have married each other. And so yeah, all the children are in his court. Alright, so with that in mind, that probably means we won't be able to do anything here. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. If you click on these guys here, you can see that they're in the dad's court. Alright, so in that case, probably not going to be able to do anything with this, guys. Because yeah, she's not going to have control of any of her kids. She might have her siblings under her control, but there's not really anybody that's a good marriage choice here. So what we'll probably do is we'll just keep it. It's a strong hook. Does it expire? It doesn't. Maybe we'll use it in the future. I don't know. You never know what could end up happening there, but yeah, I expect it's probably not going to be of much use to us, guys. So again, we could just demand the payment just to get it, but it's only 50 gold, guys. I'd rather keep the hook for in case we need it in the future. Long-term solutions. My lord, my spy master approaches me one evening. I have some remedies we could try for your insistent melancholy. It might get a bit worse before it gets better, but it's worth trying. Okay, so this is because he's our physician more than because he's our spy master. So you could say, I would do anything to get rid of this myself, or all I need is a long nap, or 3, in which case we'll become well rested. Yeah, I'd say we'd do anything to get rid of this. We are a content character, of course, but yeah, we're not trying to be depressed. Long-term solutions. To cure these kinds of affliction, it is very important to air out the bad thoughts. My spy master assures me. Come to me a couple of times every week, and we will talk about what weighs on you. Alright, so you say, I will take the time, and then we'll have low social energy, -1 diplomacy, or we could just go back to bed. Alright, yeah, we'll do that. See if we can't get over this depression we've been facing. For you to feel better, we have to work on both your thoughts and your routines. I will help you identify your negative thoughts and habits and work to change these. So as they make sense, and that will increase our stress. I guess we'll do that. Do we have anything we could do with this money here, guys? I suppose we can go on a hunt. Yeah, let's go on a hunt, guys. I know we're saving here to get the castle built up, which we were waiting for this to be lost in 1123. So we almost have that, almost have gotten rid of that. Less than a year now. Exercise and bodily stimulation are effective in balancing your humors. You will make 3 rounds of your castle every day. So I say I will do my best and will become exhausted. That's going to decrease our diplomacy further, and we'll have a health penalty, which at this age is risky, of course. Yeah, we are ailing now because of that. So this might end up killing us. These bad thoughts and this melancholy are clearly the results of evil spirits or demons. We will task a priest to pray over you to banish the evil within. So we say the power of God will heal me. Here's our first hunting event here. Rampaging Stag. Just as my bishop and I crest a hill, we hear it. The snapping of twigs, the rustle of branches, birds screaming in flight. There are heralds announcing its arrival. A massive stag heading straight for us. So we say its path ends here with me. This is a prowess challenge that could result in our death. A 23% chance that we die, 28% chance we're wounded, 47% chance that we are successful, and we get the hunting trophy. Or we say, ask the bishop for help, in which case he'll get a weak hook on us, and we'll spend the prestige. Well, as an arrogant character, I feel like we would probably attempt to do it ourselves. Honestly, it's not worth it, in my opinion. I wouldn't do this, not when we have so many things we're trying to do before we die, and if we die, then our sons are going to take all of our titles here. So I don't think that this is worth it. Frankly, I feel like if I had a choice, I'd go with this route. Here is just safer. 23% chance, that is not odds I want to play with. Just for a little prestige every month, that's really not worth it. But our arrogant character here doesn't care. He's going to try and fight the deer himself. So we got injured. Alright, well, at least we didn't die. It looks like we were already successfully treated, so it wasn't that bad of injury. And again, we have a fantastic doctor. Despite him not looking like a fantastic doctor, he really is. He's done a great job. I almost want to pay him more money. In fact, let's pay him more money. He's just done such a great job. How are we not like gifting this guy everything we have? And this will override the existing opinion modifier. Okay, well, it's ticking down anyways. But yeah, we'll just lose that 10. But I feel like he deserves the gift, so we're gifting it to him. He'll have more money available to do whatever spy masters do with that. Pay off spies, I guess. So after all the things my spy masters put me through, I slowly come to the realization that I am feeling things again. Like the sun breaking through a thick layer of clouds. I feel happiness seeping back into my soul. And so we've lost the trait, which is excellent, because remember that was a rather negative trait. And it was also impacting our opinion. Or excuse me, it was also impacting our health. We're going to lose some stress, and we're going to lose all those traits that we're getting as well. So overall, ended up working out quite nicely for us, and will likely result, and I can't seem to get rid of that. Oh, there's an X now on there for dismissing. Probably because they know that that wasn't working properly. Trying to get rid of it with the right click. So that's nice. I got a little X there. I didn't see that on the patch notes. But there's been a lot of UI changes, and some of them seemed like they weren't on the patch notes. The battle one was, but I didn't see the other ones, or many of the other ones that we noticed. Overall, our health should be much better. Yeah, we are feeling fine. So that's probably going to keep us alive longer. We did that event chain. Returning from the wild, the hunt is drawing to an end. We mount our horses to leave the hills behind as the servants prepare the stag and other game for the journey back. Somebody killed the stag despite getting injured? I guess so. Everything that could go wrong seemed to do so, but there were silver linings to be found. So we got some prestige from that. Excellent. Moving ever closer to getting to the next level of fame here. Yeah, not that far away from it. Getting us another knight and a higher secular opinion. Our culture has discovered Castle Bailey's. All right, excellent. So that'll allow us to further upgrade. Do we... No, we still waiting till June. Okay, so we just gotta wait, be patient. And we were not able to sway him. That's a shame, because he does not have very high opinion of us. And we got a 60% success chance, but yeah, that just has not been going well for us. Looks like we found another secret here. This time of this duke here. So let me take a look which... Oh, he's a very powerful duke. Alright, well yeah, let's blackmail him, and we'll take a look and see if there's any good marriages to do here after we finish. There we go, got that done. So yeah, we'll take a look and see if there's anybody we'd like to arrange a marriage with, for an alliance primarily. Who do we still have in our children to arrange a marriage for? So I know Thomas, obviously, but again, we're still trying to get him to go to the church. Can't ask him again until February. So very, very soon, we'll see if he'll accept. Maybe we want to like do something beforehand to improve those chances. He had a pretty good chance of accepting last time, but he refused. We have already married off Constance. She has a daughter, in fact, and they have a daughter together. Her husband's currently in prison. Whose prison is he in? Oh, it's a Muslim's prison. So they've had one daughter together. Their daughter did get her quick trait as well. So we're seeing that passed down. And her husband overall is not doing too well. Yeah, not doing too well at all. So let's take a look at our last son. Yeah, Cyrus does not have a marriage. So we have a hook here. We could force a marriage with one of his daughters. Now, that won't result in any inheritance, but again, it does result in an alliance. But do any of his daughters not have spouses? It sure seems like they do not. Or they do all have spouses, but they're not available. Yeah, nobody. Just the one son. And we don't have anybody to arrange a marriage for, I think. We can take a look and see if there's anybody. We do have granddaughters, I suppose. But would this result in alliance? Probably not. Yeah, this wouldn't give us an alliance, unfortunately. And it wouldn't be able to accept with the hook they would, but could we get a matrilineal marriage? We could. But again, as you know, it's just results in more people from our dynasty, I suppose. But he's set to inherit the duchy, and something could happen to him, guys. I think that this would be a great fit, in fact. I think we might do that. Yeah, I think that's the best use of this hook. The other thing to look at is if they have any grandchildren. especially the heir. Well, we already know he doesn't. So yeah, we'd have to remove him, and we'd have to kill him before he had any children with his betrothed, because then they would become the heir. So I suppose we could do this, though the question is always, would a content character do this? And of course we would do the marriage to get the alliance, but the question is, would we be willing to try and remove this guy? Now, maybe he'll die on his own. He does have consumption. Seems like his health is fine because their doctor did a good job treating him. So yeah, I don't know if he'll die on his own, but yeah, the question is, would we, you know, attempt to remove his brother here? It's hard to say. And you know what? I don't even know if this is going to result in alliance. I think we just saw that it didn't. Now, we have a lot of granddaughters that we could arrange the marriage for. I suppose the question is, which one do we want to do? I guess we're going to want to do the one that's our heir's daughter, which he has several. Yeah. So it has to be one of these three. But any of these would work just fine. And we can get these marriages done before, you know, before our son arranges marriages for him, which would probably be terrible marriages. So yeah, we have, you know, 3 kids here that are available. So we'll go ahead and pick the daughter to do this with. The oldest daughter, I meant. I think that's the best way to do it, because what would happen here... My bad, I'm going through this crazy. So what would happen here is, you know, we become our son. He only has one son. So if his son dies, then she becomes the heir. And if he arranges the marriage, he arranges a non-matrilineal marriage, which means that basically our dynasty ends in a way. Not really dynasty ends, but we lose all of our titles, is the point here, if the boy dies and she takes over. And she doesn't have a matrilineal marriage. So it really would be best to arrange the marriage for her, since we know that we're going to get a good marriage here. So let's go and do that. I'm going to arrange a marriage for him, and let's find her. She's right here. She's a stupid character. And seems like it might not be good enough now. Yeah, we're just short because this daughter is slightly different. There's something about her that's bothering him. So what we'd have to do is try and improve his opinion a little bit before we did this. Now, we could try and sway him, but that takes so much time. It'd probably better just send off the money to improve his opinion. And that would be just enough, I think, to allow this marriage to go through. Again, we could have did it with one of our other granddaughters, but I really feel like this is the best option here, guys. And yes, he will accept it. Matrilineal marriage. Yeah, this will work out quite nicely, guys. That will not result in an alliance right now, of course. But it would result in an alliance later when we become our son. So yeah, it would result in an alliance in time, eventually. So now the question is, should we try and assassinate his brother? I don't know, guys. I don't really know if we would do that or not. I mean, we're content in our life, but you know what? We're not really improving our lot. We're improving our lot in life for our daughter and our dynasty. It's not really about us. So yeah, I don't really know whether we do this or not, guys. Whether we assassinate him. One thing that I'm thinking of, though, is the fact that we haven't really been doing any assassinations or any schemes at all as this character. Which there's nothing here that would say that he wouldn't do schemes. So it kind of makes me want to do it. Every time we've attempted schemes, then the character dies on their own as well. So maybe we won't even be the one responsible for his death. Maybe all we have to do is try and kill him. And then that would result in you know, him dying on his own. Now, it's not that this guy's not set to get anything. He is set to get a duchy, but he's not set to get any counties, though. He'd get that one duchy title, which, yeah, he'd be really weak. So yeah, the best option is, again, to just get rid of his brother. You know what, guys? I say let's do it. Again, I don't really feel like the content would stop us from doing this. Now, we might not be very successful in doing this. We'll have to see if we can do it or not. Let's go and start that scheme. Cyrus has come of age. Let's see how he did. What looks like he got the Fortune Builder, level 3, so not bad at all. And overall, he's an okay character. We do still have to arrange a marriage for him. There's no real rush to do that, though. We'll wait, because, yeah, I'm not too worried about it, guys. He's still a young guy. So, did we lose this? No, that's June. Okay, so we might not even be able to build it either, because I spent all of our money. And I'm likely going to spend more if we want to get this done here. Now, there's a lot of characters that can be convinced to join the plot. None of them do we already have secrets on. or, you know, have blackmailed them and got ourselves a hook or anything like that. This character here would be huge. He would be the only one we really need to have join. So it's 110 gold. Let's do that, guys. And that would probably increase it enough, I think. Maybe not. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Wait a minute. There we go. He hadn't agreed yet. So with that, there's only one character left to invite at this point. We're at 40% here, success chance, 45% chance for secrecy, not very high. Try bribing her for 63 gold. That'll tick it up a little bit. Much better odds, guys. So let's go and keep it at that. Spend a lot of money on that, obviously. We see if we can demand payments from anybody. Who's this mayor again? I keep forgetting who he is. Alright, yeah. We're not going to want to do it on him. That might be useful against if we were plotting against the Emperor, it seems. And we have found another secret. Found a secret on the Duchess here. So yeah, we are just finding tons of secrets on everybody here. So is she the actual Duchess? Yeah, she rules in her own right. She rules right over here. And yeah, this is great, man. This is working out so well going to the capital, guys. I probably should have done this a long time ago. So let's go ahead and blackmail her. And get that strong hook on her. And it just means all these people won't be able to act against us, and we can force them to do things. We could technically, man, with as many dukes that we have secrets on at this point, and there's so many things we could do. What we want to do is move him over to here. See if we can't find any secrets there. Because I don't know that we're going to let this go when this fires 7 months from now. I really can't say, guys. I don't know if this is a good enough chance. I was hoping something else would fire here. Remember, the longer we keep this, the more likely that it's going to be revealed, though. Secrecy is not very high. 66% is not great. So yeah, definitely could fail if we let it keep going while we wait for more secrets. I think we might end up finding the secret, though, before we finish it. And our liege now has high partition. Okay, so it's going to keep the empire together a little bit more. I'm actually not opposed to that. I feel like the emperor's been a little bit too weak lately. He hasn't been able to deal with the rebellions. We're constantly seeing the emperor being overthrown and replaced, and have his authority reduced, and that just makes the empire weaker against our neighbors. Looks like he wasn't able to find anything there. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's a real shame. We try and find another one. We'll do that. I'll try and find another one, but this won't fire before this happens, the scheme. So we might have to go with the 60-something% chance. Okay, we've got 2 events happening right now. My liege, which is the emperor, or the Basilius, has been hovering around my council meetings lately. Knowing his interest in matters of leadership, I cannot help but feel that the man is waiting for me to impress him. I could probably engage him in conversation. On the other hand, it might be better for him to simply see me interacting with my men. There's something to be said for at least pretending to know every soldier's face. So we can say, let us discuss the methods of communication. So this is about our military lifestyle, by the way. So we're going to gain 50 martial lifestyle experience for that. And he will have a higher opinion of us, the emperor would. Or we say we should go greet some new recruits. And that would result in our holding having a higher levy reinforcement rate. So what would we do? Would we discuss methods of communication or go and talk to every recruit? Yeah, I don't really feel like either of these we'd be more likely to do. As far as like which one's most beneficial, I guess having a higher opinion with the emperor's helpful, but and this one's also somewhat helpful. I don't think it really matters, honestly. We'll just do this one. Just the way it was kind of worded here, kind of feels more like what our arrogant character would do. I think could have gone with either of those, though. A night to forget. By God, this party is boring. Wait a minute, are we at a feast right now? Are we at our liege's feast or something? Well, it says right here, it's our bishop. He's got to be the worst host the world has ever seen, so it's his feast. How can mortal man be expected to endure this snoring celebration of mediocrity? My eyes cast about the room looking for a diversion, any diversion. Michael gives me a friendly wave from a nearby balcony, and in the corner, Tiberios stares daggers at me. I've got to do something to stop this evening dragging. Does he dislike us? No, we're not rivals anyway. But as far as, I guess he has a negative 20 opinion with us, so he kind of dislikes us. That's our vassal, by the way. Like I say, perhaps I could get to know Michael better. Go talk to our son and heir. Or we say, hey, Tiberios, want to hear what I really think of you? And I'd probably start a rivalry with him, our vassal. We talk to the bishop instead and let him know that we think he is a terrible host, or we can quietly slink away. So yeah, these ones we'd have to wait to see what happens. If we did this one here, he'd stop endorsing us. We'd lose all those taxes and levies, but everybody would be impressed with us gaining prestige and increasing opinion with them. Let's see, what would we do? A very arrogant person, we might very well be willing to insult him, I suppose, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, as a content character, you can argue that maybe this wouldn't even be true, that we wouldn't be. I mean, content people could still be bored, of course, but yeah, you know what, I think we're going to do this one here. I'd like to know where this is going to go. Yeah, I think we could go with any of these, honestly. But yeah, I'd like to know where that one's going. Oh, it results in us being friends. Okay. So we're now best friends with their son. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. In choppy waters. So the Baron Michael is inspecting a ship anchored in one of the harbors later this week. It'd be easy to have my agents drench... Oh, so this is the assassination. It'd be easy to have my agents drench the rowboat meant to ferry him out in flammable liquid, wait until it's out in the middle of the harbor, launch a flaming arrow, and then just let the water claim him. So we could do this. 61% chance of succeeding. Could postpone it for 3 months. Maybe we'd find a secret in that time. Maybe we'd be able to get more agents or something. I don't know, guys. I really feel like we should just go with it now. Set the plan in motion. 61% chance. Probably going to fail, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So the flaming arrow shot by my agent blazed a burning path across the harbor only to miss the boat with a hair's breadth. As the fire fizzled out in the cold ocean water, the passengers of the boat stared at it without comprehension for many seconds before pandemonium broke out. To make matters worse, the archer was caught and revealed me as the one behind the plan with no hesitation. So, did not work out well. The scheme was revealed, and we gained 12 dread. And of course, everybody's going to be quite unhappy with us about that. Especially, I'm sure he's not going to like us that we did that, attempting to murder his family member. Yeah, that didn't work out well, guys. That worked out quite bad. Yeah. Okay, well, the betrothal's still set. But yeah, that was disastrous. Quite disastrous, honestly. Maybe we should have postponed it. We never really could have known that postponing would have done anything, guys. And he now has high crown authority. Okay, we're not cool with that, guys. Not at all. We have got to fix that, because that just stops us from being able to expand the entire time. So just looking at the factions, there's really not very many factions against him right now. Now, of course, we have our own faction here, which is just us and the Duchess here. Not very strong faction. We could force people to join. We can force this Duke to join. He doesn't have much troops. That's the Duke of Bulgaria. Or we could force the Duchess here to join. She also doesn't have very many troops. That's unfortunate. Huh. Yeah, I mean, again, we could do it. We have the Duchess here that we can blackmail. We could force her to join as well. And so if we forced all of them to join, which she's really the only one that has a good troop number, a good amount of troops. Frankly, nobody really has a lot of troops. How many troops does the Emperor have? About 10,000. Needs quite a few to be able to win this. So yeah, we could force them into the faction. They'd be forced to be in it for several years. This is for lowering the crown authority here. Let's just wait for a minute. Again, we'll see if anybody else is willing to join. And you know what? We can also go ahead and try and get secrets on some of the other dukes and duchesses and see. I just don't want to like use our hook and it not be beneficial. We were able to increase county control here. Excellent. So that's more money for us, more levies, all that kind of good stuff. We're at 2,600 troops, but we're getting older, guys. We're 55 years old. Trying to finish this up so that I can try and uncover a, try and fabricate a claim. We're able to get another secret here. Let's go ahead and blackmail her. And she doesn't have any titles. So, you know, wouldn't be able to force her into the treaty or anything like that. Or, excuse me, into the faction. So let's just go ahead and demand payment. We do need more money. It doesn't look like she has any money. She's actually in debt. Yeah, she's negative 50. She owes money. So won't be doing anything there. I do want to build this now, but we can't. We don't have enough money. We need 467. Alright, so yeah, kind of in a cruddy position. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get Thomas to take the vows. 54% chance. With the hook, it's 100% chance. Did I not use the hook before? Not entirely sure. But yeah, this would work. Again, doesn't really impact. And now he's a monk now. I'm hoping that he ends up being put into a bishop position. But yeah, it doesn't impact the inheritance at all because Cyrus just takes the county that his brother was going to be getting, which is this one right here. So yeah, I believe it's still going to result in the same amount of titles coming to us overall. So yeah, let's see what ends up happening there. Now, there is one title that I'm not sure who's getting that. Oh, Magnus, that's right. He's getting this one here. So our counselor died, Cosmos. So I need to get a new steward, which I don't know if we have anybody that's decent. This mayor here is a powerful vassal, so he wants a position. We're not going to give it to him. Maybe we'll put Cyrus in position here. I mean, he's pretty good at this. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put Cyrus, appoint him as our steward. I think he's a good fit. The marshal position, we'll see if there's anybody who's better. I haven't looked at this for a little while, so we'll just kind of glance through here, see if there's anybody that we'd prefer to have these positions. I doubt we'll have a spy master that's better. No. So yeah, that looks good. Good to go. And that prisoner did die. Okay. So I think that means our prison is completely empty now. Yep. Alright, so Crusader Kings. So this is going to result in a crusades, and the crusades starting here. So let's see what happens there, but that just means Catholics are going to be coming and dealing with you know, the Muslims who are on our border, and right now, you know, we have lost territory to them. We've also gained territory as well. You notice that the Emperor has like a patchwork of territory everywhere. It's kind of like all over the place. It's kind of a mess, honestly. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I don't know if that'd be a good thing or a bad thing. The Crusades coming, because it just results in the Catholics now getting involved in this area. But again, we kind of need the assistance. We are losing territory. So we finally converted this province. It took us forever. Good God, that took us a long time. So now we can fabricate a claim, and we're trying to get a claim on her territory here. So we're going to attempt to do that. I wonder if we'll ever get to use it. Because remember, we can't even declare war right now because of the high crown authority, so we'd have to do a rebellion before we could do anything, which I don't know if anybody has joined that faction. There has been an additional person to join here. Looks like Prince Lucas. She has some titles. He has quite a few troops, actually. We're actually looking a lot better. I almost want to go ahead and start forcing these in here and seeing if we can't get this higher. Surety of Supply. Part of commanding an army means making sure my soldiers have plenty of food, drink, and camp gear for long campaigns. To this end, I should come up with a plan for ensuring my soldiers always have the supplies they need in the field. So we can say, arrange a network of merchants to help me. And this is a stewardship challenge. 64% chance of success. We'll get the well-provisioned armies. What's the failure? 36% chance, and that will be, you know, have some supply capacity issues. You say stockpile supplies in my stronghold. That'll cost us some gold, and we'll get the well-provisioned army modifier that way. Or you say my soldiers can forage for their own supplies. And that one's a pretty decent one, honestly. Yeah, I feel like we could do either of these. This is not a great chance of success here. But it does get you the lifestyle experience points. Remember, this is all about our lifestyle. This is where the event comes from. I think we're pretty close to getting our first perk here. But yeah, I kind of feel like I feel like we probably would do this one, even if it's not very likely to succeed. I mean, I say not very likely, but 64% is not bad. It looks like it worked. After going through, I need to start using the X, it's just easier. After going through reams of financial ledgers, I was able to pick out a group of merchants scattered around the countryside which I knew would be dependable. I made an offer to keep them on retainer to provide any supplies my army needs at a moment's notice. This will ensure my commanders will always know who they should go to when they need provisions. So it worked out. So we're going to gain that modifier. Or we can say now need to skim a little off the top. So you wouldn't even get the modifier. Yeah, we'll go and do that, guys. That would help us in our future conflict. We did get our first perk here, so we can go and decide which route we want to go. And are we gallant, a strategist, or an overseer? I suppose is the question here. I don't think we're the most gallant of characters. I didn't really get that from Count Michael here, the Kinslayer. And I don't really know that he's a strategist either. I feel like we'd probably go overseer, even though as far as like, if we're trying to improve our military, this is the least useful one. These would be the two we'd want to get to improve our military. But again, roleplay wise, I kind of feel like this is more the route he would go. It does give us some dread, so that's helpful. Because yeah, we didn't have any dread before. Natural dread. So that'll put us at a plus 15. So that helps in a lot of different ways, guys. And we got another secret. But wouldn't be really all that useful, honestly. We'll go and, do we want to blackmail? Yeah, we'll get a strong hook on him. Blackmail that character. Can't get any money from her or anything like that. Let's go ahead and move this now back to the capital where we were having such success. Yeah, I feel like we're going to have to do this faction war, guys. I don't think there's any way around it. I suppose we could force this guy to, like, convert or something just so we're... oh, I guess we can't do that. He's not in our court. Yeah, there's really nothing we could do with that hook since he doesn't have any money. We'll just keep it. He could always act as an agent if we happen to try and operate here again. Probably not, though. I can try and assassinate him again. I think because we failed, though, we'd have to wait a long time, so probably not going to happen anytime soon, guys. Yeah, 11:34. We'll be dead before then, I think. So yeah, I don't expect that we'll get to do that, unfortunately. We are 55 years old, getting older, guys. And still haven't been able to expand here. We gotta get that claim, and of course we have to get the Crown Authority lower if we're gonna be able to do anything. So yeah, it's definitely a concern. We have gotten another member here. I mean, yeah, we're getting more and more faction members. Let's take a look. Let's force everybody into this. And we'll see how this ends up working. We got a lot of people we can force in. I think there's one more here. But that's not enough. We still have to get more people into the faction. Yeah, it's just not enough. We're at 77% right now. So we would not be able to send an ultimatum. Alright, so yeah, we're just gonna be forced to wait until other people join, unless we can get more strong hooks here in the capital. I guess that's what we're gonna be doing. But as of right now, we probably wouldn't win that. We were able to sway him, so that's more troops, and you take a look, see how much that has improved the situation. Actually, I need to go into the factions here. 78% now. All right, I mean, it's getting higher, but we're still not there, guys. So it's kind of a shame. And we're back to speed 3. I don't know how that happened. I must have accidentally hit it. All right, so I think that's actually just about the end of the episode, unfortunately, guys. I was trying to get this built first so that I wouldn't forget, because I know I will. I was trying to get that 467, but yeah, I haven't been able to get there just yet. Can demand payments. Why were we not able to force her to join? Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure we didn't force her to join. We can go take a look at that. Of course, we have the Countess here. And it seems that she lost her title. Yeah, I think she lost her duchy title because she used to be a duchess. So frankly, she's not as useful. And yeah, look at all her, everybody's dead. Her whole family's dead. Who's set to inherit? Maybe a grandchild? Yeah, it looks like one of her grandchildren is set to inherit. But yeah, she's been having a rough time of it, guys. I feel like we'll probably sell her hook. Again, I'm just trying to get some damn money. I don't really see what use that would have on her. We can take a look at this count here, see where he's at. All right, so he's up here. And we have that on him. I think we'll go ahead and get rid of that hook as well. Just trying to get some damn money, guys. All right, so that get us up to 500 so that we can build this. All right, so, oh, wait a minute. Oh, we don't have the Battlements Upgrade. I was thinking we had already gotten that. Why didn't I notice that before? So I've been waiting this whole time to build this, and we can't even build it. Yeah, I could have swore we had that already. Apparently not. Maybe it was a different one that we had gotten, and I thought we had that one. All right, well, that's a shame. So yeah, we can't even upgrade this right now. That's a real bummer. Well, we can go ahead and build elsewhere in our realm. I mean, this is the only title we're set to inherit right now. So I guess we'll build here, and we'll improve the small harbor. But yeah, that's kind of a bummer, guys. I didn't realize that we couldn't do that. I've been waiting this entire time, and it's not even possible. It's kind of a shame. Just taking a look at the factions here before we end. We're down to 67%. Looks like one of those members who joined on their own has decided to leave. I'm surprised we can't force that one Duchess into the faction. Is she in her own faction already or something? No? I'm not entirely sure why we can't force her. Maybe the liege has a strong hook on her, the Emperor does, and so she can't join a faction against him. That's what I would assume. Or she has an alliance with him or something like that. So yeah, that's going to be the end of today's episode, guys. Overall, nothing quite working out the way I wanted to. Couldn't get this damn fort here. Obviously, you know, we're about to get the claim here and won't be able to use it because of the high crown authority. So overall, things aren't quite going the way I'd like. You know, this assassination attempt didn't work out at all, though we still have the marriage, so I guess there's that. But again, he's set to inherit everything. So once he gets betrothed, well, wonder why they haven't got married yet. That's kind of strange. But once they get married, they'll start plopping out kids, and then our attempt to really get anything for him is not going to be very effective. He is now set to get a barony, though. He's still going to get that duchy as well. And he is 6 years older than our granddaughter. So it's going to be a while before they actually get married. But yeah, that's going to be the end of today's episode. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. I do hope to see you guys on the next episode, and thanks for watching.